Morgen, Freunde der analogen Unterhaltung. Morgen. Morgen. Ja, wir haben heute deutschsprachigen Fahrservice von Rolf Raupach aus Berlin. Ja.
Als Uber-Driver hier.
Ja, als Uber. Ja, er will sich was dazu verdienen, hat er gedacht. Ah, GenCon 50. Da gehe ich mal ein bisschen hier hin und mache mal ein bisschen Uber.
Nur, dass Sie das eigentlich fahren hier.
Ja, also falls ihr denkt, ich sehe heute so ein bisschen fertig aus. Es liegt daran, dass Cron die Wasserversorgung von Indianapolis lahmgelegt hat.
Genau, ich war der letzte Mensch, der in Indianapolis duschen durfte. Und während ich geduscht habe, ist das Wasser plötzlich ausgegangen. Dann dachte ich noch, der Hunter hat vor mir geduscht, hat irgendwas kaputt gemacht. Aber
klar,
jetzt gibt er mir die Schuld. Und tatsächlich hat jetzt halb Indianapolis kein Wasser, was bedeutet, wir fahren jetzt auf ein Convention Center mit 50.000 ungeduschten Gamern.
Ja, also es ist, glaube ich, nur unser Stadtviertel. Ja. Zuerst wollte ich noch ausrasten, jetzt sind wir schon im Hotel und plötzlich funktioniert die Dusche nicht, aber die konnten tatsächlich nichts dafür. Dann haben wir noch so schöne Durchsagen gemacht und wir dachten, das hört sich so ein bisschen nach Terroranschlag an. Achtung, Achtung! Aber sie wollten nur mitteilen, dass es 6 Stunden dauert, bis wahrscheinlich wieder Wasser da ist. Deswegen habe ich jetzt meine Zahnbürste eingepackt und muss erstmal Zähne putzen, wenn ich da bin. So, wir sind unterwegs zum Inflight Report, Fantasy Flight Pressekonferenz. Auch ein fester Bestandteil bislang immer gewesen unserer GenCon-Besuche, dieses Jahr natürlich auch. Ja, immer wieder beeindruckend, was die da für eine Presse-Marketing, so ein Marketingfeuerwerk, was ich so kurz mal abbrennen. Ja, meistens kommt auch immer noch was raus, was man vorher nicht gehört hat. Ich habe jetzt gestern gelesen, irgendein Leak, Star Wars, Miniature, Tabletop, irgendwas habe ich auch gelesen. Ja, irgendwas so in der Richtung werden wir sicher gleich zu hören bekommen. So, jetzt geht es hier rüber, Skywalk ins Hotel, schon ziemlich cool, auch typisch GenCon. Kann einfach vom Convention Center rüberlaufen. Und dann ist man plötzlich in einem Hotel, in dem Fall Westin, und da gibt es dann so Ballrooms. In dem Fall ja, ist es ein Ballroom und da findet dann die Pressekonferenz statt. Ja, hier stehen die Leute jetzt schon an für den Inflight Report, natürlich ausverkauft. Und natürlich sind auch andere Presse da, die man halt so kennt hier. Kollegen von Board Game Geek. Und da kommen sicher noch ein paar mehr bekannte Gesichter gleich hier. Aber jetzt müssen wir erst noch kurz warten. Wir sind natürlich, ja, man muss sich auf früh da sein.
Zu spät. Das ist so wie bei der Oper. Man darf, glaube ich, nicht rein, wenn die Arie schon begonnen hat.
Wenn die Arie begonnen hat, ist Closed Door. Es ist voll. Voller als letztes Mal. Uns wurde auch gesagt, bislang war es nie gegeben, wir haben noch ein bisschen freie Plätze, aber dieses Jahr ist echt so, hieß es so, ja okay, ihr könnt noch mit reinkommen, aber wahrscheinlich müsst ihr stehen irgendwo am Rand. Eric Martin meinte so, hier ist No-Ticket-Team.
On this side.
Ja.
Ja, alle, die kein Ticket haben, stehen hier und versuchen mit ihrem Charme reinzukommen.
Genau. So, wir sind drin, erste Reihe. Haben wir sogar noch Stuhl geschafft, ja, sogar einen Stuhl bekommen und das ist einfach cool, spannende Atmosphäre, wie als würde jetzt irgendwie ein kleiner Preis verliehen werden. Aber eigentlich, ich meine, 90% von dem, was wir zu hören kriegen, wissen wir wahrscheinlich schon. Aber die 10%, die hier noch niemand weiß, die kommen es an.
Welcome to the 2017 Inflight Report for Fantasy Flight Games.
What the heck is it? What is this game? And it's not an easy question to answer because the main designer of this game, Nikki Valens, kind of went out of her way to make something innovative and interesting and hard to kind of peg down. I feel like when people try to, or they ask me to describe a game, they always try to relate it to something else that they know. So this game's just like Monopoly, but in Roombound, right? But no, that's not true. This is something new, and I'm going to try to describe it to you right now. So, Legacy of Dragonholt it's a game about exploring and discovery, and the way that we do this is the game comes with a map of the village of Dragonholt, and across the village are all sorts of different things you can do. You can explore anywhere that you want, kind of at your leisure, But this is a living village. There are NPCs that are living their own lives. There are different parts of town. If you go to the tavern in the morning, you're going to have different encounters than you go there at night. And every decision that you make is going to be remembered by the game. So if you come back here later, they're going to remember that you burned down their house and they're not going to be happy with you. So don't do that. But it's a living world. And what we're trying to do in this game, in addition to that, is a lot of people call it in the office kind of like, is this a role-playing game, maybe without a GM? And to an extent it is. I mean, you get to make your character, you've got your skills, you've got your talents and whatnot. You get to choose your race, as you can be a cat person. But ultimately, you get to kind of level up your character and have that role-playing experience, and you don't need a game master. You get to explore this open world. In addition to kind of the exploration elements, you get, there's 6 quests in the box, and these quests come out organically as you're kind of exploring the world. Like, maybe you'll encounter some farmer whose wife turned into some giant spider thing and is eating all the children, and that doesn't happen. But it gives you an idea that these things that you may encounter in the world that are going to spawn larger quests, and you're ultimately trying to unravel the mystery that's happening in this sleepy little town, and you might get to fight a dragon, I'm not sure. So this is something really special, and stay tuned to our website to find out more information about it. I think we've got something unique here, and I'm really excited for people to see it. Civilization New Dawn. So this is a new Civilization game that we're working on, and it's a fast game. You can play a game of it in 1 to 2 hours. And I bet there are probably some Civ fans out there that are like, what? Like, if I'm not up till 2 a.m. in the morning and feel like crap the next day, it's not Civilization. But this game is our counter-argument against that. So if you're playing the game, if it's a quick game, if it's streamlined, like how does it feel like Civ? The lead designer, James Niffen, he's a huge Civ fan. And he tells me that you can't spell civilization without 4 X's. I don't trust his spelling skills, but he really does care about it, and he made sure that you can do all those things that you expect to do in Civilization. Genesis. So Genesis is a game that, honestly, you, the fans, have been asking us for a long time to make. And so we've listened, we've heard you, and we're going to do it. And to talk a little bit about it, let's hear from the lead designer, Sam Stewart.
Genesis is a role-playing game that is flexible enough to be used with any setting, from fantasy to steampunk to science fiction. The idea came about after I'd gone to a few conventions and seen people using our narrative dice system and using it to run games in a bunch of different settings. They were inventing their own settings, doing different stuff with it. Could we take this system and turn it into a more flexible game? And from there, we've created a game that is designed to be adapted into any setting, from science fiction to steampunk to fantasy. So one of the things that's really awesome about Genesis is that it's not just a repackaging of the narrative dice system. It was also our chance to create some really new and interesting mechanics for this game to help really facilitate it being a flexible game that works in a lot of different settings.
If you couldn't tell, we're really excited about this game. It's flexible, it's fun, it's injected with narrative, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. It should be out this year though.
Fallout is an adventure board game where you and up to 3 other players play as survivors exploring the post-apocalyptic wastelands of Fallout 3 and 4. You choose a scenario at the beginning of the game, and that determines which wasteland you're going to be exploring and what factions you're going to be fighting for influence over. As you go through the wasteland, you're going to be fighting monsters, having encounters, making decisions, completing quests. The decisions you make will permanently alter the wasteland and add new encounters that you can come across. So your decisions really impact and change every game you play. We really wanted to get across the personalization you get from the Fallout video games into our board game as well, so that you can really customize your board game experience to you. Fans of the video game are going to see all the different character customization options they know and love. in the board game. You can advance your 7 different special stats as you play through and level up. You can choose which weapons and armor you want to equip, what companions you want to have with you. You also get traits that track the decisions you've made and the different moral choices you've made, and what different people in the wasteland think of you and the choices you've made as you adventure.
Yeah, so like as I mentioned, Fallout is demoing at a booth right now, and it'll be available by the end of the year. Legend of the Five Rings, the card game.
Legend of the Five Rings is a collectible card game that debuted in the mid to late 90s, during that era when collectible card games was really at its peak, and an incredible amount of lore and memories and gameplay have really been added to it by the creators, the fan base, and have turned it into this beloved property that we have today. And now we're going to take it into the next chapter.
So Legend of the Five Rings is one of the oldest CCGs out there. Debuted mid-90s at Gen Con to a huge tournament, a lot of excitement, because this card game brought a new element. It allowed fans to have interaction with the ongoing storyline.
As a setting, it's based in the world of Rokugan, which is a fantasy setting that is based on Japanese, some Chinese elements, Mongolian, a lot of East Asian cultures. The IP is also from the card game. It's developed a lot of fiction, RPG, miniatures games, some board games, so it's kind of blossomed into a lot of different ways for people to tap into the world.
The curtain opens on an empire in turmoil. The 7 great clans are each in a weakened position. The Cron, who are normally known for their wealth and their influence, have been hit by a massive tsunami that has affected their stores of rice and their wealth. They are suffering from decreased influence in the courts, which has allowed the Scorpion to ascend in their place. And as the Scorpion come into ascendancy, that leaves the entire political landscape in turmoil and instability. And then, of course, we also have militarily border skirmishes breaking out between the clans, and threats are coming from beyond the wall, from the Shadowlands now, to threaten the Crab and possibly all of Rokugan beyond.
So the most important things that we brought forward from the TCG are, of course, the clans. The other thing that we brought forward is a lot of the structure of how conflicts work. We want players to have this back and forth fight over the provinces that they're trying to break.
Players are going to have the chance to represent their clans. They're going to have a chance to steer the storyline in a direction that they believe will be compelling. So we're going to be having a story told both through the cards and through the fiction that comes in those card packs.
When you play the game, you're representing one of the great clans of Rokugan, so you pick the one that you want to play the most. What I'm going to be trying to do is go into my opponent's territory and take over their provinces, and there are 2 different ways to do this. One is by military attacks, one is by political attacks. The other thing that's really interesting about kind of when you're invading your opponent's area, you don't know exactly what you're going to find when you get there. So basically the players are going to be trying to you have to break 3 of 4 front row provinces before you can get at the stronghold, and then the first player to break the opponent's stronghold will win the game.
So ever since I first encountered Legend of the Five Rings back in 2010, it quickly became my favorite setting, both to roleplay in, to read, to write in, and as someone who now gets to work on this setting with Fantasy Flight Games, it's been a dream come true. I'm really excited to be able to share these stories with you now at the Gen Con release.
And we're about to release our 3rd set, Empire at War, and that is going to come out very, very, very soon. So be patient a little bit longer. I know a lot of people are like, oh, can I buy it? Can I buy it? And like someone actually like took a picture of the booster and like posted on Facebook like, hey, look, I'm so lucky I got my copy. And people are like, nope.
All right, it would not be a Inflight Report, I don't think, if we did not announce the new X-Wing Wave. It's X-Wing Wave 12. X-Wing Wave 12 includes these ships. So the first is the Kimagilla fighter. The Kimagilla is for scum and villainy. The next ship is the Phantom II. And lastly, I think this is the most requested ship on our forums and on Reddit. It's the Alpha Class Starwing, otherwise known as the Assault Gunboat. Talked about a lot of products, a lot of product lines. Obviously, we don't have time to talk about everything. That doesn't mean we don't love all of the products that we do and all the product lines that we support as equally as humanly possible. So I'm going to go through just a few of additional things we're excited about, but again, this isn't everything. So Rise of the Empire is a new expansion for our Rebellion board game, designed by Corey. It introduces a lot of stuff from Rogue One, some new units, and a modified combat system, which is pretty sweet. Last year we announced two huge products in the Arkham Horror setting, both Arkham Horror the card game and Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. We've been blown away by the support from the fans for both of those games. It's really amazing how much everyone seems to be really loving them. So we're going to continue to support those. Path to Carcosa, which is our new deluxe box for Arkham Horror the card game, is on sale now. I don't know if we have any of those left. We might. And then Streets of Arkham for Mansions of Madness. Armada. I know we have a lot of Armada fans and wondering what's coming. I can tell you that we are working on something big for Armada, so stay tuned for that. And lastly, probably everyone's wondering about the Imperial Assault app. It's real. It's a thing. We're working on it. Our screens, people playing it. We're play testing it. It is in development. We are going to get it to you as soon as humanly possible. I want to let you know that it's not vaporware, it's real, it's happening. So just stay tuned. All right, let's do it. Gives you the opportunity to play out the many unsung battles of the Galactic Civil War. It gives you an opportunity to build and customize your own forces. It is not pre-painted. You have to paint them, and you can paint them however you like. We have the very official paintings, but you can do whatever you want. You can make orange stormtroopers. That's cool. I think there's been some speculation about if we were to do a Star Wars miniatures game, would it be based on Rune Wars? It is not. It is, I think, something that is probably more comfortable and familiar to people who have played a lot of miniatures games in the past. It is units moving loosely across the table, staying in unit cohesion. Miniatures gamers know what unit cohesion means. It's that. You can see here, hard to see, there's these cool little movement tools here, and there's this circle. These pivot, and that's how you move across the battlefield. So this has this little hollow here that lines up with the base of a model, and you can see here on these vehicles that it has this little notch that fits into there, and then you can move to the end of that ruler. Obviously, it has what we're known for, custom dice. It has also comes with a ruler measurement tool. Obviously, you have your unit, and then you'll have unit upgrades. So, very similar to X-Wing, to Armada. You can demo it today. at our booth. I think it's going to be at 1 o'clock there, is that right? Yeah, 1 o'clock. I'm not sure what time it is now. So if you want to duck out and go wait in line, you can totally do that.
Ja, das war's für Fantasy Flight Inflight Report. Cron ist schon vorgerannt, weil er während der Präsentation auf Twitter gelesen hat, dass schon ein paar Sachen langsam wieder ausverkauft werden oder schon ausverkauft sind. Das hat ihn ziemlich beunruhigt, deswegen ist er ganz schnell losgerannt. Ja, muss sagen, natürlich wieder war es ganz interessant, wobei ich schon sagen muss, aus Brettspielersicht am interessantesten eigentlich noch fast Legacy of the Dragonhold. Ja, ich bin echt gespannt, das ist so ein bisschen Rollenspiel, Legacy scheint auch so ein bisschen mit drin zu sein. Vielleicht so ein bisschen Fantasy Flights Antwort so auf diese Gloomhaven-Geschichten. Aber naja, man wird sehen. Also weiß ich selber noch recht wenig drüber. Star Wars Legion, okay, noch ein Miniature-Spiel, jetzt Star Wars. Haben sie selber gesagt, letztendlich war es zu erwarten, dass sie das irgendwann mal machen. Schauen wir uns auf jeden Fall an. Ich meine, auch das Rune Wars Miniature Game, ich fand es nicht schlecht. Das macht mich jetzt nicht zu einem Miniature-Spieler, zu einem Tabletop-Spieler. Deshalb habe ich gar nicht die Zeit und Cron auch nicht. Aber klar, das ist schon ganz cool und schaut man sich gerne mal an. Ansonsten gehen wir jetzt wieder zurück ins Convention Center. Ja, das gehört auch hier zur GenCon. Die Foodtruck-Parade auf der Georgia Street. Ja, ich weiß, die Food-Situation, das Essen war auf der BerlinCon dieses Jahr auch so ein Thema für sich. Aber tatsächlich hier auf der GenCon, obwohl es glaube ich über 50 Foodtrucks hier gibt, ist die Situation mittags nicht wirklich besser. Hier ist zum Beispiel der eine Foodtruck hier und die Schlange geht halt hier komplett rum. Ja, ich laufe jetzt mal durch und zeige euch mal, was es hier alles so zu essen gibt. Das ist nämlich eine ganze Menge. Ja, was die Auswahl angeht, da können wir auf jeden Fall in Berlin noch einiges lernen. Ganz cool ist, dieses Jahr gibt es ja auch Foodtrucks hier vor dem Lucas-Oil-Stadion und das haben noch nicht so ganz so viele mitgekriegt, außerdem ist es am Ende der Convention und hier ist nicht so viel los und deswegen werde ich jetzt hier mal diesen Mexikaner ausprobieren, mal gucken wie der so schmeckt.